All right, welcome back to Clear Creek Solutions series on minimum requirements. And in this video, we're going to get into minimum requirement number 3. MR3 is source control of pollution. We're going to get into minimum requirements 3 and 4 actually in this video, and they're a little shorter. And they're starting to get more complex as we go to 5, 6, and 7, especially since there's some modeling involved there that we're going to have to take a look at. So minimum requirement number 3, source control of pollution. And so all known, available, and reasonable source control BMPs must be applied to all projects. Source control BMPs must be selected, designed, and maintained in accordance with the Stormwater Management Manual. The intent of source control BMPs is to prevent stormwater from coming in contact with pollutants. They're cost-effective means of reducing pollutants in stormwater and should be a first consideration in all of your projects. So essentially, we're wanting to control all of that pollution that is coming from the site. We need to be able to control that right at the source as opposed to letting it go downstream. So here's some supplemental guidelines. Source control BMPs include operational BMPs and structural source control BMPs. You can see volume 4 for design details of these BMPs. For construction sites, see 2-3.2, construction source control BMPs. And so structural source control BMPs should be identified in the stormwater site plan and should be shown on all applicable plans submitted for local government review and approval. An adopted and implemented basin plan, seen in Appendix 1B, or total maximum daily load, see 12.13 total maximum daily loads, or TMDLs, may be used to develop more stringent source control requirements that are tailored to a specific basin. And so identifying source control strategies in a basin plan. Basin plans can identify potential sources of pollution within the basin and develop strategies to eliminate or control these sources to protect beneficial uses. A basin plan can include the following source control strategies. One would be detection and correction of illicit discharges to storm sewer systems, including the use of dry weather sampling and dye tracing techniques that allows you to track the path of water or the pollutants in that water. Identification of existing businesses, industries, utilities, and other activities that may store materials susceptible to spillage or leakage of pollutants into the storm sewer system or to the ground well via wells, drains, or sumps. So you're going to be aware of what kind of industries are around you on the project site. And elimination or control of pollutant sources identified in 2. So identification and control of future businesses, industries, utilities, and other activities which may store materials susceptible to spillage or leakage of pollutants into the stormwater system, and training and public education. So a basin plan that incorporates the standard requirements from this section as well as more stringent requirements does not require ecology's approval. So that was minimum requirement number 3, just controlling the pollution at the source and being aware of the surrounding industries and natural environment to make sure nothing happens to the local water bodies. Now we're going into minimum requirement number 4, which is preservation of natural drainage systems and outfalls. The natural drainage patterns shall be maintained, and discharges from the project site shall occur at the natural location to the maximum extent practicable. The manner by which runoff is discharged from the project site must not cause a significant adverse impact to downstream receiving waters and downgradient properties. All outfalls require some form of energy dissipation. So the objective is to preserve and utilize natural drainage systems that already exist to the fullest extent because of the multiple stormwater benefits these systems provide, and to prevent erosion at the downstream of the discharge location. So essentially, utilize the systems that are already there. We don't need to create ones from scratch, and it's going to be a lot more efficient that way. Some supplemental guidelines include creating new drainage patterns results in more site disturbance and more potential for erosion and sedimentation during and after the construction process. Creating new discharge points can create significant stream channel erosion problems, as the receiving water body typically must adjust to the new flows. Diversions can cause greater impacts than would otherwise occur by discharging runoff at the natural location. Where no conveyance system exists at the adjacent downgradient property line and the discharge was previously unconcentrated flow or significantly lower concentrated flow, the measures must be taken to prevent downgradient impacts. Drainage easements from downstream property owners may be needed and should be obtained prior to approval of engineering plans. So the following discharge requirement is recommended. Where no conveyance system exists at the abutting downstream property line and the natural existing discharge is unconcentrated, any runoff concentrated by the proposed project must be discharged as follows. If the 100-year peak discharge as estimated using an approved continuous runoff model, such as WWHM 2012, using 15-minute time steps, is less than or equal to 0.3 CFS under existing conditions and will remain less than or equal to 0.3 CFS under developed conditions, then the concentrated runoff may be discharged onto outlet protection with riprap, such as those described in 5-143 outfall systems, or to any other system that serves to disperse flows. If the 100-year peak discharge, as estimated using an approved continuous runoff model, like I said, such as WWHM 2012, using 15-minute time steps is greater than 0.75 CFS for either existing or developed conditions, or if a significant adverse impact to downgradient properties or drainage systems is likely, then a conveyance system must be provided to convey the concentrated runoff across the downstream properties to an acceptable discharge point, i.e. an enclosed drainage system or open drainage feature where concentrated runoff can be discharged without significant adverse impact. Stormwater control or treatment structures should not be located within the expected 25-year water level elevations for salmonoid-bearing waters. Such areas may provide off-channel habitat for juvenile salmonoids and salmonoid fry. Designs for outfall systems to protect against adverse impacts from concentrated runoff are included in 5-143 outfall systems. So that's covering the minimum requirements for 3 and 4. 1, controlling the pollution at the source. Minimum requirement 4 is essentially using the existing drainage systems and then following these discharge requirements for your project sites. So those are minimum requirements 4 and 3. We're going to get into the additional ones coming up here. We have a free course. You can learn how to use WWHM 2012 for free. If you go to the description box down below, just sign up and we will allow you to use and access that course. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you guys in the next video.